Welcome to the Mainline Music Stage. Tonight, we are thrilled to take you on an unforgettable journey into a world of music like never before heard on our stage. The Mainline Music Stage is on the road this week, bringing you a brand new experience, one that blends the raw emotion of opera with the rich storytelling of folk traditions. We proudly present the Ice Maiden, a breathtaking story and opera brought to life by the incredible voices of the University Opera Workshop, along with members of our very own music stage ensemble. This groundbreaking performance weaves together haunting melodies, soaring harmonies, and a gripping tale of mystery and fate. A heartfelt thank you to the University Opera Workshop for joining us on this musical adventure. Their artistry, dedication, and passion have made this one-of-a-kind performance possible. So, sit back, let the music carry you, and prepare to be transported into the world of the Ice Maiden.
Where the winds of silence run deep, on a throne of ice so high, the Ice Maiden rules the sky. Snow and shadow bow before her, mountains echo, storms implore her. With a whisper, frost takes flight, turning day into endless night. Hail, oh hail, the Ice Maiden.
Chapter 1. The Frozen Throne. The wind howled through the jagged peaks of the great frozen north, carrying with it the whispers of the past and the chilling promise of the future. Atop the highest spire of the ice keep, the Ice Maiden sat upon her frozen throne, her piercing gaze fixed upon the southern horizon. The dark silhouettes of raiders on horseback could be seen in the distance, their torches flickering like fireflies in the twilight. She clenched her frost-wreathed scepter, feeling the pulse of ancient magic coursing through her veins. The kingdom had stood for centuries, unyielding to the heat of invaders. But the Lord of Fire was relentless. His forces sought to bring ruin to the eternal winter, to claim the north and thaw its treasures for their own gain. But the Ice Maiden would not falter. A soft crunch of snow echoed behind her. It was General Vial, her most trusted commander. His silver armor rhymed with frost. "My queen, the enemy approaches. Their numbers are greater than before. They mean to break through the ice wall." The Ice Maiden stood, the very air around her growing colder. "Then let them come. The north will not yield." She raised her hands, summoning the wind. Snow swirled in response, a blizzard beginning to form. The first battle of the new war was about to begin.
Through the tempest, through the night, I reign beneath the pale moonlight. Winds may howl and storms may rise, but ice endures where fire dies. Bound in frost my kingdom stands, carved in ice by ancient hands. Hear my call, the north wind sings. Bow before the frozen queen. Hail, the frozen throne stands tall. Through the storm I hear my call. Winter's wrath, the north wind's might, blinding cold, eternal night. Let the fire rage below. They will break upon the snow. Glaciers march at my command. No warmth shall taint this sacred land. Bound in frost my kingdom stands, carved in ice by ancient hands. Hear my call, the north wind sings. Bow before the frozen king. Hail, the frozen throne stands tall. Through the storm I hear my call. Winter's wrath, the north wind's might, blinding cold, eternal night. Shadows fall and fires wane, only I shall still remain. Let them come, let them fight. The Ice Maiden rules the night. I rule the night. I rule the night.
Chapter 2. Shadows in the Snow. The raiders moved like wraiths through the icy wasteland, their cloaks blending into the swirling snow. They had learned long ago that fire and steel alone would not win them the frozen north. Stealth was their ally, shadows their armor. Each step was measured, each breath controlled to avoid revealing themselves to the ever-watchful Ice Maiden and her frost-forged warriors. At their head rode Captain Darien, a man as ruthless as he was cunning. He had raided many lands, but none as cursed and unyielding as this one. His sword was heavy at his side, its blade darkened from years of war. He narrowed his eyes at the towering ice walls in the distance, their crystalline edges gleaming under the pale moonlight. "Tonight we move like phantoms," he murmured to his men. "The Ice Maiden's power wanes at dusk, and the cold will be our veil. No torches, no sound. We will carve our path through the ice and take what is rightfully ours." His warriors nodded in grim agreement. They did not fear the cold. They had come to embrace it. But even the bravest among them knew that the north was not so easily conquered. As they crept forward, the wind whispered their presence. The Ice Maiden would know they were coming. But for now, they were only shadows in the snow.
Through the veil of frozen night, we creep unseen, no torch, no light. Footsteps silent, breath held tight, ghosts upon the endless white. The cold it bites, but we remain. Dark and steel, the hunger, the pain. She watches high upon her throne, but we are shadows cold as stone. We are the storm, silent and slow, gliding through ice, hidden below. Strike like the frost, swift as the crow. No one will hear, shadows in snow. Blades drawn tight, hearts like steel. No mercy, no fear, only zeal. We come for gold, we come for land. The Ice Maiden won't withstand. The cold it bites, but we remain. Dark and steel, the hunger, the pain. She watches high upon her throne, but we are shadows cold as stone. We are the storm, silent and slow, gliding through ice, hidden below. Strike like the frost, swift as the crow. No one will hear, shadows in snow. No footprints left, no cry, no sound. Just empty halls and frozen ground. We slip through cracks, unseen we go. The north won't know till rivers flow. We are the storm, silent and slow, gliding through ice, hidden below. Strike like the frost, swift as the crow. No one will hear, shadows in snow. No one will hear, shadows in snow.
Chapter 3. Fire on the horizon. The Ice Maiden stood atop the glacial peak, her silver-white gown billowing in the frozen wind. Her sapphire eyes, fierce and unwavering, scanned the distant horizon where the first embers of war had begun to rise. The sky, once painted in the serene blues of eternal frost, now burned with a crimson glow. Smoke curled in thick tendrils, carried by an ominous wind that whispered of ruin. The Lord of Fire was coming. The valley below, once untouched by warmth, trembled with the approach of his infernal army. Shadows flickered against the ice, cast by the flaming banners of his legion. Warriors clad in obsidian and ember-forged armor marched in perfect unison, their molten weapons radiating heat that cracked the permafrost beneath them. At their helm rode the Lord of Fire himself, tall, wreathed in flames, his eyes glowing like molten gold. The Ice Maiden clenched her fists. She had known this day would come, had foreseen it in the shimmering reflections of the ice pools. The balance of the elements had long been fragile, and now the time for battle had arrived. She turned to the assembled warriors of the Frost Realm, knights of ice, sorcerers of the frozen mist, and great beasts sculpted from eternal winter. Their breaths fogged the air, their weapons gleaming with enchanted frost. They awaited her command, their loyalty unwavering. Stepping forward, she raised her arms, and as the first fire-lit spears crested the ridge, she sang. Her voice, pure and cold as the northern winds, echoed through the valley, calling upon the power of ice and snow.
Winds of frost, hear my cry. Darkened skies burn in the night. Ash and ember stain the snow. Flames arise, doom's bitter glow. Fire on the horizon, shadows dance in crimson rain. I shall rise unbroken, winter's might shall break the chain. Steel and snow, stand your ground. Frostborn hearts will not fall down, though the tempest rages bright. Cold and justice shall unite. Hail the storm, hail the cold. Let the frozen wrath unfold. Flames may roar, but they shall die beneath the Ice Queen's piercing cry. Fire on the horizon, let it come, let darkness reign. I shall carve its vengeance, winter's throne shall rise Fire on the horizon, let it come, let darkness reign. I shall carve its vengeance, winter's throne shall rise
Chapter 4. Summon the Storm. The sky over the Frost Peak Mountains churned with heavy clouds, their underbellies swollen with the promise of ice and fury. The winds, once whispering omens of warning, now howled like restless spirits, twisting through the jagged peaks with an eerie, unnatural wail. At the heart of this storm stood the Ice Maiden, her silver hair whipping about her like tendrils of frost, her crystalline gown shimmering with the cold fire of the north. The time had come. From atop the frozen spire, the highest peak in the realm, she raised her arms to the heavens, her fingers trembling with an ancient power that had not been summoned in an age. The air around her crackled as snowflakes formed from the ether, spiraling in chaotic yet mesmerizing patterns. Her breath was mist, her voice a haunting melody as she began the incantation. Spirits of frost, winds untamed, rise from the depths, answer my name. Glaciers move and tempests wake, shatter the silence, make mountains quake. A tremor shook the land as ice surged up from the ground, jagged spikes forming a glacial barricade around the valley below. The shadows of her enemies flickered against the storm's growing fury, their torches mere pinpricks of warmth in an expanse of relentless cold. The Ice Maiden narrowed her piercing ice-blue eyes. She would not allow them to desecrate her domain. From the depths of the frozen abyss, the spirits responded. Their howls merged with the wailing winds, their presence coalescing in spectral forms above her. Translucent figures of warriors long turned to frost, their eyes glimmering with the same icy resolve that burned within her own. They awaited her command. Strike down the fire, bury the steel, coat them in frost, break them, make them kneel. Let the heavens rage, let the tundra cry, summon the storm, let the fire die. With the final words, the storm erupted. A blinding blizzard swept down the mountain, swallowing the valley in a swirl of snow and ice. The enemy's torches flickered, then died, as the frozen wind stole their warmth. Cries of panic echoed, but the Ice Maiden did not falter. This was her land, and none would take it from her. She turned, stepping into the heart of the storm, becoming one with the fury she had unleashed.
Whispering winds, hear my plea from frozen peaks to restless sea. Shadows rise, the fire nears, ice and silence quell my fears. Summon the storm, let the cold winds rise, shatter the earth, blind the skies. Spirits of winter, heed my cry. Let the blizzard drown their fire, let them die. Frostborn warriors, rise from sleep, strike the mountain, carve it deep, shroud the stars in endless night, turn the flames to frozen white. Oh, spirits lost in snow and time, bound to ice, hear night shine. Sing with me the frozen song. Let the blizzard dance so strong. Summon the storm, let the cold winds rise,
Chapter 5. Battle of the Northern Winds. The storm raged across the Frost Peak Mountains, blanketing the valley below in an endless sea of white. Beneath the howling gales, the clash of steel and the cries of war rang out like a mournful symphony. The invaders, clad in dark armor, struggled against the biting cold and relentless winds. Their torches, once bright, sputtered and died, swallowed by the wrath of winter. At the front of the Ice Maiden's forces stood her frostborn warriors, phantoms of ice and vengeance. Their spectral blades cut through flesh like shards of frozen glass, their forms shifting with the storm, untouchable as mist. At their center, clad in silver and frost, was Captain Valric, his battle cry piercing through the blizzard's roar. "For the Ice Maiden! For the North!" He swung his blade in a wide arc, cutting down a foe who dared step too close. His breath formed clouds in the air, and his body burned with the cold, but he would not falter. They fought not just for survival, but for the very soul of their land. A massive warlord clad in heavy black steel emerged from the enemy ranks. His blade, dark as obsidian, crackled with infernal energy, the very heat of it melting the snow beneath his feet. Valric's eyes narrowed. This was their leader, the one who sought to defile the Frost Peak Mountains with fire and conquest. The warlord raised his blade high. "Your winter dies today." Valric met the strike with his own, steel ringing against steel, frost meeting flame. Around them the battle raged, swords clashing, shields splintering, and the wind screaming like a wounded beast. The frostborn warriors surged forward, pushing the enemy back step by step. The Ice Maiden, standing atop a ridge, watched with unyielding resolve. She raised her hands once more, and the storm heeded her call. The wind howled louder, the snow thickened, and the very air became an icy vice around the intruders. One by one their limbs stiffened, their weapons fell, and their cries faded into silence. Then, with one final mighty strike, Valric drove his blade through the warlord's chest. The dark-armored foe staggered, eyes wide with shock, before collapsing into the frozen earth. A roar of triumph erupted from the frostborn warriors as the enemy broke and fled, their spirits shattered like ice beneath an unforgiving storm. Victory belonged to the North.
Through the storm we march as one, blades like ice, our will undone. Frost and fury, steel and might, we shall stand, we shall fight. Winds of winter, hear our cry, strike like thunder from the sky. Shatter fire, drown the foe, let the frozen banners flow. Dark and steel, your fire fades. Beneath the storm, the cold invades. Steel meets steel, fate is spun. Only one shall see the sun. Frost-bound legions, heed my call. Let the traitors freeze and fall. No more mercy, no more light. Winter claims its final fight. Snow and shadow, ice and pain, bound forever in the slain. Frostborn warriors rise anew. Let the storm decide the few. Winds of winter, hear our cry, strike like thunder from the sky. Shatter fire, drown the foe, let the frozen banners flow. The north shall reign in ice and snow. The north shall rain ice and snow.
Chapter 6. The Prophecy of the Great Thaw. The battlefield lay silent beneath the weight of victory. The frost-born warriors stood in the stillness, their breath mingling with the fading storm. Among them, the Ice Maiden stood atop the ridge, her piercing gaze fixed upon the horizon. Though the enemy had been vanquished, a whisper in the wind stirred something deep within her soul, an omen carried by the frozen air. A distant glow pulsed in the heart of the mountains, a forgotten cavern hidden beneath layers of ancient ice. Drawn by an unseen force, the Ice Maiden descended from the heights, her warriors watching in silent reverence. The entrance was sealed in a wall of frost, but at her touch, the ice parted like a veil, revealing the darkened chamber beyond. Inside, the air was thick with the weight of time, the cavern walls lined with crystalline formations that shimmered with an eerie glow. At its center, an altar of ice stood untouched by age. Upon it, an ancient tome rested, its pages flickering with ethereal blue light. As the Ice Maiden approached, the runes upon the pages ignited, their words resonating through the cavern in a spectral voice. When the blade of winter claims the land, and the fire of war is buried in sand, the frozen crown shall crack and fade beneath the light of dawn's first blade. The Ice Maiden's breath caught. The words spoke of a future long feared, a time when the eternal winter would end, when the frost that shielded the north would thaw, and the power she wielded would wane. She traced the glowing words with her fingertips, feeling the truth woven into their magic. The Great Thaw. If the prophecy was true, the North's unyielding grasp on winter would one day be broken, and the balance of the world would shift. Her heart, carved from ice yet filled with purpose, wavered for the first time. What was she, if not the guardian of the eternal frost? What would become of her people, her kingdom, if the cold was fated to melt away? Kneeling before the altar, she closed her eyes, and for the first time in centuries, she sang, not a song of war, but of fate, of uncertainty, and of the icy threads of destiny unraveling before her.
Whispering winds, speak to me now. Runes of the ancients fate will allow. Frozen kingdom bound in white shall fade beneath the morning light. Will the frost forsake its queen? Shall the ice no longer gleam? Winter's crown may crack and fall. Shall the north still heed my call? What am I if ice must fade? A ghost of snow, a wraith unmade. forever told. If winter breaks, shall I remain or melt away like frozen rain? Can shadows hold what once was bright, or shall I vanish with the night? Will the frost forsake its queen? Shall the ice no longer gleam? Winter's crown may crack and fall. Shall the north still heed my call? Time may shift like drifting snow, changing all I've come to know. Yet through the cold I shall remain, guardian of frost through loss and pain. Should winter fade, should ice betray, the north shall live another way. The north shall live another way.
Chapter 7. Whispers of the Frostborn. The Ice Maiden stood upon the balcony of her frozen citadel, gazing across the vast expanse of her realm. The prophecy of the great thaw lingered in her mind, a shadow cast upon the endless white. The Frostborn people, her people, thrived under the eternal winter, bound by their unyielding strength and resilience. Yet if the ice were to break, what would become of them? Below, the city pulsed with quiet activity, cloaked figures moving through the frost-laden streets. These were the ones who had sworn loyalty to the frozen crown, warriors and artisans alike, their lifeblood entwined with the snow. She could hear their whispers, hushed voices speaking of the prophecy, of change, of fear. She had ruled for centuries, her heart as cold as the ice she wielded, but doubt seeped through the cracks. If winter was destined to fade, would she fade with it? Would the Frostborn endure, or would they vanish like melting snow beneath the sun's warm embrace? A solemn wind howled through the citadel halls, carrying with it the voices of ancestors long past. Their wisdom, their strength, their warnings, all converged into a single, sorrowful truth. The cost of eternal winter had been great. Countless generations had known only the frost, their joys tempered by the bite of the cold, their songs hushed by the howling winds. She closed her eyes, allowing herself to feel the weight of it all. Then, for the second time in centuries, she sang, a lament for the frost, for the whispers of those who had given everything to the ice.
Oh, the cost of lost beneath the distant sun. Rising in power, grief and resolve entwined. Oh, the cost of winter's rain, bound by ice, consumed by pain. Frostborn souls, do you still hear? Or have we lost what we hold dear? Frozen echoes call my name, bound in ice yet not the same.
Chapter 8. The Inferno's Advance. The Southern Army pressed forward, their march carving a fiery path through the frozen wasteland. The once unbreakable wall of ice that had long protected the North now cracked beneath the relentless heat of their advance. Flames licked at the frost, turning the snow beneath their boots to steaming slush. General Calderon, clad in armor that gleamed like molten steel, rode at the head of his forces. His sword, forged in the heart of a southern volcano, burned with an ember that refused to die. His soldiers, hardened by years of war and trained in the art of flame, moved like a raging inferno, consuming everything in their path. The Ice Maiden's forces met them at the Valley Pass, a shimmering wall of ice rising in defense. Spears of frost jutted from the ground, and the blizzard above thickened, swirling with unnatural fury. Yet Calderon did not falter. He raised his burning sword high, and with a single cry, his warriors surged forward, breaking against the ice like a wave of fire meeting a glacier. Steel clashed against enchanted frost, fire roared against the howling winds, and the valley became a battlefield of opposing forces. The Southern Army fought with relentless fervor, pushing forward inch by inch, melting the permafrost that had held the North captive for centuries. The time of ice was ending, and the Inferno's advance had only just begun.
Steel and flame we ride as one, scorching ice beneath the sun. No more shall winter hold its throne, for fire claims what cold has known. Ice may rise and winds may scream, but fire wakes from endless dream. Strike the blade and burn the past, let the flames consume at last. Onward, forward, burn the night, crush the cold with crimson light. Forge ahead and take the land, the South shall reign, we make our stand. Snow and shadow flee in fear, ashes rise as fate draws near. Winter's curse shall break in flame, none shall halt the South's great name. Ice may rise and winds may scream, but fire wakes from endless dream. Strike the blade and burn the past, let the flames consume at last. Onward, forward, burn the night, crush the cold with crimson light. Forge ahead and take the land, the South shall reign, we make our stand. We make our stand. Feel the ice crack, hear the call. The south shall rise, the north shall fall. The frozen chains shall break at last, for fire's reign shall hold steadfast. Stand. Feel the ice crack, hear the call. The south shall rise, the north shall fall. The frozen chains shall break at last, for fire's reign shall hold steadfast.
Chapter 9. The Ice Maiden's final stand. The sky cracked with fire and frost as the battle raged at the gates of the Ice Palace. The once unbreakable fortress of the north trembled under the southern army's relentless assault. Flames licked at the frozen walls, steam rising where ice and fire met in a desperate struggle. The great storm that had shielded the Ice Maiden's kingdom was weakening, its howling winds faltering against the searing heat of the advancing army. Inside the palace's grand hall, the Ice Maiden stood before her throne, her silver hair flowing like a river of snow. Her sapphire eyes burned with a cold fury, her breath visible in the chilled air. She knew this moment would come. The prophecy had foretold the day when fire would march upon her land, seeking to end the eternal winter. But she was not ready to surrender. Stepping forward, she raised her arms, summoning the spirits of ice and storm one final time. The frozen chandeliers shattered, their shards swirling around her like a blizzard reborn. The ground quaked as ancient runes carved into the palace walls began to glow, releasing the last remnants of the North's untapped power. Outside, Commander Dane's army pressed forward, their torches illuminating the battlefield. But then, the winds screamed anew. From the highest tower of the Ice Palace, an avalanche of ice erupted, crashing down upon the advancing warriors. Frost crept across their blades, freezing weapons mid-swing. The storm had returned, not as a shield, but as a weapon. Dane gritted his teeth, his breath hot against the bitter cold. "She will not fall easily," he muttered, gripping his sword tighter. The Ice Maiden stepped onto the palace balcony, her voice echoing through the frozen battlefield. "This land is mine, bound by frost and oath. If I fall, the North shall fall with me." With a final cry, she unleashed the storm's full fury, ready to make her last stand.
I stand where the cold winds rise, beneath the storm of endless skies. My kingdom frozen, pure and white, I will not yield without a fight. Hear the frost call, spirits awaken. Let the earth quake, let the sky be shaken. The storm rise, let the wind lost to the fray. No sun shall warm what winter claimed. My name shall echo forever fade. Hear the frost call, spirits awaken. Let the earth quake, let the sky be shaken. Winter's wrath, my final breath. Ice and shadow, life and death. Let the storm rise, let the winds cry. For the north shall never die. Snow and silence, fate is spun. The storm's last breath, my war is won. Let the frost seal my decree. The north shall live eternally.
Chapter 10. A Kingdom Reborn in Frost and Flame. The battlefield lay silent beneath a sky of fire and ice. Smoke curled from the remains of the Southern Army's torches, their flames struggling against the frost that still clung to the land. The once mighty storm had quieted, its winds reduced to a whisper, as if mourning the war that had just unfolded. At the heart of the ruins stood the Ice Maiden. Her silver hair was streaked with frost and shadow, her sapphire eyes dim but unbroken. The power she had unleashed had driven back the invaders, entombing many in walls of glacial ice, but the cost had been great. The Ice Palace, once a beacon of eternal winter, stood cracked and crumbling, its magic spent. Commander Dane, kneeling amidst the fallen, gazed at the frozen battlefield. His sword was embedded in the permafrost, steam rising from its molten steel. The fire of the South had burned bright, but it had not conquered. And yet, neither had winter triumphed. The prophecy had spoken of a time when frost and flame would meet, not to destroy, but to reshape. Slowly Dane rose. His breath mingled with the cold air, no longer fighting against it, but becoming part of it. The Ice Maiden watched him with weary eyes, sensing the shift in fate's design. "The North will never bow," she whispered. "No," Dain answered, "but neither will the South." The silence stretched between them like a frozen river, and then, beneath their feet, the first drop of water fell. The ice that had gripped the land for centuries began to thaw, not in surrender, but in rebirth. Winter would endure, but so too would the flame. Not as enemies, but as forces entwined, forever shaping the world together. The Ice Maiden turned toward the horizon, where the dawn met the storm's fading edge. The battle had ended, but the legend of frost and flame had only just begun.
The wind have ceased their mournful cry. The stars hang frozen in the sky. The world has changed, yet here I stand, with ice-bound hardened heart and trembling hand. Winter's shadow, summer's fire, bound in fate and dark and dire, not as foes, nor sword, nor chain, but as echoes lost in time's refrain. Frost and flame, entwined as one, breath, a mist so sharp, so white, drapes the land in endless night. Snow and shadow bow before her, mountains echo, storms implore her. With a whisper, frost takes flight, turning day into endless night. Hail, oh hail, the Ice Maiden reigns. Cold and fierce, no warmth remains. With a touch, the rivers freeze, bow before the northern breeze. Yet deep beneath the icebound spell, a tale of fire no one tells, a spark of warmth, a hidden light, waiting to break the endless night. Will the frost forever stay, or will the dawn reclaim the day? The Ice Maiden lifts her hand, fate is hers to command.